Okay, so we're now heading into part two in my conversation with Cindy. It's a bit shorter, but I need you to start off with thinking about this. All right. If you were like me, were you glued to Instagram and or the TV when it came to this month's football? And it wasn't really as much about the football as it was about the cultural joyfulness that went into every single one of these nations. I'm still thinking about how all the Dutch people rocked up with their left to right, and the crowd just kept getting bigger and bigger. I thought about all the American cities opening up and sharing their joy, like Walmart, and everybody's so fascinated by it, or the love for my island, which blew up the whole world and has become instantly famous by being the smallest nation in the world, and yet coming with their sense of love and joy for their culture. You cannot help but realize in this world that we live in that's so tensed and so afraid of other people's culture that this was a beautiful moment in time to see how important about how the beauty of humanity is no matter where we're from and how we can unite. And that leads to my conversation with Cindy, which is just perfectly slots in because she does this amazing initiative called Minal Qalb Project. I hope I said this correctly. And it's about empowering women, I believe, in sports, and she does it in such a clever, delightful way. Now, I'm not going to let any more out until you listen to this episode. Enjoy the episode.
Do not underestimate them, believe me. Yeah. I found this project Minal Qalb.
I was going to ask you, and you beat me to it. Yes.
Yeah. So it's from the heart. So again, we come back to the same thing. From the heart, I value these women in another culture, different attires, but it doesn't matter what they wear. Again, they are so talented, they are so motivated, they are really badasses. They rule the world. They rule not only the household, but they rule the world. And people in a lot of Western countries, they don't even realize. They say like, women in the Middle East, they are in the kitchen the whole day. They don't have an opinion. They cannot speak out. Boy, do they have the wrong opinion. Then I always say, like, have you been there? Have you worked with them? Have you enjoyed yourself with them? Like, I made a lot of friends throughout the years. Like me, not a ton of friends, but like the one that I met through my project Minal Qalb, they really became friends, and they teach me, each and every one, about their culture. And really, do not underestimate them. They are so motivated. You don't see this, by the way, in Belgium. At least I didn't see it. Women of my age in Belgium, they're like, let's slow down. We are in our perimenopause or menopause. I'm too, but still, we keep going, and it's the same. Never stop being curious. Like, I just had a phone call from my Noof, and she said, yeah, I'm going for my master. And like, wow, they inspire me. They're like, oh, wow, really? I don't have any, I love my friends in Belgium to death. They know, but none of these awesome friends will call me and say, you know what, I'm going for my bachelor or my master. It will not happen. And it's totally fine, huh? It's totally fine. And they are amazing as well. And they have golden hearts as well. But just nobody can judge the women in the Middle East. Nobody can, because they simply don't realize how great they are.
I find one thing honestly, I'm so struck, and I still am, is it's their community leadership.
Yeah.
And their community leadership is very much in lead by example. I found that they really think things through over here in this side of the world, and they're not afraid to voice their opinion.
No, exactly.
And I love that. I find it very refreshing.
Me too. Absolutely.
And what I'm curious, because I'm only seeing it right now in Dubai. I haven't explored other regions. So you have, And I want to come back to the project because not everybody knows about the project. When you told me, I was hanging on your lip. Can you share them a little bit more what the project is? Because I do think it was something that I would love people to understand what you've done with it, because I've seen it, I go through it, and I just think, wow, every woman has a story. And you know me, I'm all about women's empowerment on this stuff.
Yeah. So, moving to a different culture, which is completely the opposite of what we were used to in Belgium, I really wanted to feel the locals, because I feel like a guest. I feel very welcome, and this is my home now, and I do feel this is my home. But I read so many wrong articles in mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
And what I got to experience myself was, again, completely the opposite. And because I was so frustrated, and the more I got to know the culture, the more I got to know the women, the faces, the women behind it, I was trying to find a way how to bring their story out. And the thing is, usually people are very judging. When they see, for example, a woman in an abaya or a burqa, they will be very judgy and negative. We have to be honest about it. I'm
In the
not,
West.
but like a lot of people in the West, they do.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of it, but it does. So
I've seen it. I've seen it quite a bit, and
yeah, me too.
I'm in
Me
between
too.
both. And when I get it,
Yeah.
I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, I don't get it. So I was thinking, like, how can I change their perception without even, like, for example, when I was in Saudi and I was wearing an abaya, and I sent like this picture, like, look what an amazing abaya I found on the market. My friends were saying, are you okay? Is everything, yeah, do we need to be worried about you? Really? Yeah. And I'm like, oh wow. So I cannot judge them for being judgy, because they don't know, they don't live here, they don't experience. So I was thinking, how can I find a way to make them realize how reality is? And so I came up with Minal Qalb, which is Arabic for from the heart, because also, again, it's already where it starts, showing my respect to them by using an Arabic name for the project.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of respect for them, and I'm learning Arabic. It goes very slow, but I'm getting there, But by using already the Arabic name for the project, this is already where it starts.
It does. Yeah, it does make a difference.
It's again, I see you and I value you. It's already where it starts. Again, the same thing. And so I approached these women whom I found interesting. And I asked them, if I could illustrate them in a very cute way. And then they had to give me a very powerful quote that was important for them. And I didn't say it was, but I still do it, so it still is. And then also the real picture, because the first thing what people see on the website or on the Instagram account is the cute illustration. And that is exactly the reaction I get from everybody, whether it's like children from 7 to 75 or older, women, men, everyone, they say, oh, this is cute. Exactly. Then you scroll and then you see the face behind it. And then you see this powerful person or motivated person or authentic person. And then you see this quote and then it's, it must have been quite a challenge, or it hasn't been easy, but you see, she's too motivated. She's going for it. She keeps that positive mindset. Again, this is again where 555 comes in again, because all these women, somehow they face challenges as well.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. They've been through a huge transformation in the Middle East, some country faster than the other one. But all of them went through big transformations, and they all kept that positive mindset. And they everyone are so special. For example, I started with the project with one specific person, and I met her in the grandstand in Jeddah back in December 21. At the time, I was thinking like, okay, all these women in Jeddah are wearing the burqa, which is totally fine. Women, we are not allowed, to talk or whatever. Well, I met this woman in the grandstand while I was handing out lollipops, and Noof was there with her two sons. And we started having a conversation because I gave the lollipops to her sons, and we started having this conversation.
Yeah.
And she blew my mind. She totally blew me away. And I was like, oh, wow. And then one row before were three women, a little bit older, or a lot older, and all in a burqa. And one of them was on Snapchat because that's very popular in Saudi.
Oh,
And she's
really?
like, yeah, it's very extremely popular. And she said, yeah, come. They also wanted to have the lollipops. So I gave the lollipops. And then, of course, at the time, I didn't speak like one word Arabic. So she started having a conversation. She put me on Snapchat live for her friends. And I was like waving, saying hi. And I tried to talk to her with Google Translate to say something.
Oh, yeah, of course. How
Because,
cool is
yeah,
this?
because back then we didn't have anything else. So it's like Google Translate. So I tried to have at least a little conversation with these women. And they were like very proud having some, from women from abroad. It was the first F1 race. So it was very special. These
Oh,
women there
yeah.
in the grandstand, first race ever. Then
Yeah.
some Western woman coming there, handing out lollipops. So what is going on? And it was very funny because now she's my very dear friend. She became my very dear friend, Noof. She saw that what was happening while I was trying to have this conversation, and she was very touched by my actions, like trying to
Yeah.
communicate, even though I didn't understand a word they were saying, and I was just trying to, with Google Translate, at least to have some kind of conversation with them. And she was touched by that. And then it took us 3 years to meet each other again physically, which was in Riyadh. And
Yeah.
then, one occasion leads me to another. And then I meet always one woman from Minal Qalb. She brings me to another woman. And each one has their specific story, has their achievement, has their dream come true, or working on this dream. And I can only say respect, like huge respect for each and every one of them. And I feel so lucky that they allow me to be in their lives, to open their door towards me. I became even member of Rawazi hiking team in Riyadh.
Oh, yeah, because you go on these amazing hikes.
Yeah, so it's Noof, she is a member of Rawazi, and Shireen, she is the founder of Rawazi Club. Through them, I meet other amazing women, and this is again, I'm curious, and that makes me very happy, like meeting other women, hearing their story, and then being able to share it in my specific way
Mm-hmm.
to tell everyone in the West, you better be quiet. Look at this.
Well,
And
I
see how it is. See how
I'm not
reality
sure.
is.
I'm not sure about the word quiet. I actually want them to be more aware in speaking,
Yeah,
making
but
it normal, like
exactly.
normalizing that
True. But usually they
many
make
voices.
noise. And they make noise, and a very bad noise. That's
Yeah,
why I'm saying, so they better don't make the bad noise anymore, and
they
just
could transform that They could
eh,
transform their language.
yeah,
You
exactly.
you know why I love this project so much is I actually started when I started Drop Your Noise. I didn't podcast wasn't on my radar. I was like, oh yeah, someday I'll do it. And I was like, well, I don't want to talk about me, myself, and I. That's just bloody boring, right? But what I wanted was in my life, my role models that I really admired was actually my mom, my aunt, my backyard, because I never saw anyone that I could really relate to in my days. I love having a wide, beautiful women from around the world, because I do think every woman has a story, can bring such a. It's very important to the transformation of human connection. We were always known for community buildings, and don't want that narrative to ever change. But then I couldn't find outside in professional worlds or that hand holding. And in the West, in Europe, or even in the UK, I was faced with a lot of like, oh, that doesn't feel good comments. I'm like, you don't know what it is, but it just didn't feel good. And then when I came here and you see that, oh, this is what I've been looking for all this time. And then when you spoke about what you do with the project, I was like, this is what is more, it'd be so wonderful because that should be more and more in the West, because it normalizes a conversation. It doesn't make it be like, oh, wow, I'm impressed. it normalizes that we are all in this together. That's how I
Exactly.
see it, at least.
Exactly. And we are all women with our dreams, with our goals, with our achievements, with, the way we are in life, the way we are approaching life. And we just need to not only work more together, but just like, exactly, like we're all, I call it the circle of Minal Qalb. We're all in the same circle. In this circle of Minal Qalb, everybody is equal. Everybody is equal. We're just all women. We're all out here, and we are here to make the best of our lives, no matter who we are and no matter where we are.
Are you ever going to do more with the project?
Well, yes, I will. I'm working on different ideas. I cannot tell too much about it right now because it's still under approval, but it's huge. If everything gets approved, then it will be for the last months of this year. I make the thing is that I have a lot of ideas, but they need to, everything happens when it needs to happen. I really believe that. Like, even like putting these women on Minal Qalb, sometimes it's like one every week, and sometimes maybe 3 or 6 months, nothing happens. And it's totally fine. There is no pressure. I really believe that everything happens when it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And so some things, they are suddenly there. Some opportunities which I take, other opportunities I create or I initiate. And then I just hope that other people are willing to go along and to make sure that we come up with some exceptional experiences. And so there is something beautiful coming up. Again, inshallah, if it gets approved. But I'm working on that approval, so I will keep you
Definitely let
posted.
people know. Yes, please. I'd really want to know.
Yeah, all the women are involved, even royalty. I want to create awareness. It's easy as that.
Somebody told me the other day, bottom line is for companies, bottom line is emotions. And sometimes I'm like, is bottom line emotions or is bottom line awareness?
I think it's awareness because, for example, my husband, he's very rational and I'm very emotional. So you need both in business. You need to be able to be very rational. Otherwise, you will not survive in any kind of business. But awareness is also very important. And it's okay, for example, I feel very much complementary with my husband. Like, he is very rational, I'm the emotional one. So he gets on with the figures, with the strategy, with, finance, budgets, and all these stuff. And I'm like the one who's like, I always say I have my tentacles and I feel what's going on with the people. And together we combine everything in 555 in the project. I'm very sensitive. I feel really when people don't have good intentions, then I would say to my husband, it doesn't feel right. I have this bad feeling about this person. And sometimes he will say very rationally, I understand your opinion, but still, business wise, for this and this and this reason, very rational, we should work with this person. So you need to combine both. You cannot only live on a rational base, but again, not only on an emotional base either. It has to be a balance, and by having awareness is already a big step.
When I say, okay, having awareness, to dive a little deeper, and I think this would be a really nice way to get listeners to reflect on, which is how can we break down the awareness to balance between logic and the emotives together?
It's a very good question. And I think, again, it starts with communication. Because, again, whether it's in personal life or in business life, I think it's a necessity to have a team or a family environment where there is space for ratio and also for emotion. And I think by having the right conversations and positive communication, you can create a lot of awareness. There are a lot of aspects. Some people are extremely emotional or are, as they say, classified in certain spectrum. But again, by having the right conversations and communication with the right people who are maybe from a totally different corner, they can open your eyes and they can really brighten your world, and they can enlighten your vision, your insights. And then I think it really helps, way more than going to someone professionally. I mean, talking to someone which is too close is not always the right approach, because these people will maybe not listen. Like, for example, with my children, if I have a certain opinion or a certain issue I want to discuss with them, I know I can talk. I can talk free and openly. But having someone else saying the same words that I would say,
Yeah.
will help to create way more awareness. It's not about bad messages. I always want to keep talking in positive feedback, like even if it's for a bad situation or a situation that can be changed. I will not say that this person is bad or whatever. I will say, like, if you approach it from the other side, if you approach it in another way, you can get the best version of this person. It's another approach. If you judge someone, again, they feel they are being put in a corner. If you explain to them, and if you explain how they can change their mindset, how they can transform, again, transformation, if they are open, again, to go through that transformation, to go through that change, it will help them in life. And it will not help them only on a personal level, but also daily life, with their contact with everybody else, whether it's in their job or their hobbies or whatever. I think that is very important, communication. And not only in small circles, but very wide circles as well. And raising our voices, raising our voices for kindness, raising our voices for openness, raising our voices for just everyone, because everyone deserves this.
To me, I'm listening to you, and I have the word you're saying transformation. It's almost like when you're having a hard conversation, you want to run away from it, like you said. It's, you want to transform the feeling in the conversation, so balancing logic and the emotive, to bring the best version of the person out in the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Because usually, like, for example, in our working environment, people can approach you sometimes in a very rude way. And I always try to imagine what is going on from their side,
Yeah.
the position they are in, because usually they are under a lot of pressure. They
Yeah.
need to deal with a lot of difficulties. And because of this, they react to me in this kind of way. And it's not only in business, it's also in personal life. So I must admit that when I was 20 years old, I was not able to think like this. Absolutely not. I was like going bash,
Neither
boom,
would
crash,
I.
bang. No, totally not. But by aging, and also, I have to admit, also by being with my husband, having a lot of conversations with him as well, I really learned to look from all the different angles, and to be more relaxed, and to I cannot imagine the arguments I have in my life now. I rarely have them. When I was 20, every day with so many people, you know? And so it changes. When you grow older, you are way more mature, and the more open you are, the more easier it gets to understand everybody else, the less arguments you will have. Because when you are willing to see it from their vision, from their view, from their standpoint, point of view, sorry, it changes the whole narrative. It changes everything.
I I don't want to be like the constant agreeer, but I fully prescribe to what you're saying. I think there's inherent a lot of value that goes into having a hard conversation. And I was in 20, I was just as argumentative and feisty because I didn't have the experience to step back yet and go, okay, how else can I tackle this? And nowadays, you really just got me thinking about. I have this frustration with AI. It's a huge frustration, which is it's always trying to agree with me in the beginning, and I'm like, stop! I don't want to agree. And then I heard the statistic that more men use AI than women, And a lot of it based around how do I approach this situation? And I'm always thinking about those first few sentences, like, I agree with you, or yes, I understand what you're trying to say. And I go, that doesn't help having, to me, it doesn't help encourage what you're saying, which is have that difficult conversation from the perspective you didn't think you're going to have hear it from. And so that is one of my big concerns. I wonder what your thoughts are around that.
Well, to be honest, those situations I don't ask ChatGPT. I'm more like in the more practical things, or the time saving questions. I ask ChatGPT. Again, same thing. And I think what we are talking about, the values we are talking about, AI stands so far outside of that. I know that some people in my circle use it sometimes, even like a psychologist that they talk to or whatever, and for them it's very helpful. So I do respect that aspect, and I do not underestimate it, that it for some people it might help in that way as well. But in general, for me, as I said in the beginning, I am a person who does everything from the heart. And AI or ChatGPT can have a lot of things, but it doesn't have a heart. So for me, when it comes to emotions and all these things, I will not, for me, it's so far away from AI or from ChatGPT or whatever, because it's from the heart, from my heart to someone else's heart.
Would this be your message for everyone going forward? Well, if you had to leave and tell them, drop your noise, focus on this, what would it be?
Yeah, I would not talk about AI. I would really just encourage people to be kind every day to everyone, because they don't know these people usually. They don't realize what these people are going through. And I think random acts of kindness can change the whole world.
And if they had to define kindness, what it is, what could you suggest them that it could be?
It starts in the morning when you get out. The first person you see in the elevator, at the reception or security, just say hello, good morning, smile at them. When you enter the office, you can like walk, this is how you can walk like a horse to your chair. No, when you pass by to people, say hi, how are you, shake hands, whatever, like show some interest. When you see someone in the office who is cleaning, like, what did you do in the weekend? Usually people don't know. They just want to have their office clean. That's it. No, talk to these people. How was their weekend? How do they feel? Smile at them. Don't ignore people. So I see so many people, whether it's here in the Middle East or in Belgium, I saw it as well. People ignoring people. I really hate it. Even when I'm walking with the dogs and you see people in the forest, when you pass each other, you do all the effort not to touch each other's dogs. And then I say hello, and so many people don't say hello back to me. Like to my husband, why? Well, what is wrong with them? Like just say hi, just say hello. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything. It just costs you one word, hello, and one smile. That's it. Start by doing these, and you see what a chain reaction it will give.
Oh, I could talk to you for hours. I have like 20 million questions. Like, oh my God, I could go through it all. But I think I'm going to have to come back to it in December when you share that project has to go through. So yeah.
I'm happy to. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, so are you as curious as me what's going to happen end of the year with this? Isn't it wonderful, her initiative to break that sense of judgment or biasness in such a beautiful way and in such a kind-hearted and joyful way? Lives up to her sense of personality, but also that sense of joy that goes really to the heart of just being a human being, no matter where we're from. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Look forward to sharing more with you. Until the next one, have a good one. Take care.